Good morning from me as well. I'm Mariya, and I'm going to talk about the desire to print in an electronic era, or how has the message of a photograph changed in the 21st century. Since the invention in the early 19th century, photography has grown into an intrinsic part of people's daily routine. As with every other media, it has gone through a variety of changes, for which people as Walter Benjamin used words like aura to portray the differences. There are two strong key moments which stick out when we talk about this media. The first paradigm shift, when it broke away from painting, and the second, which we're going through now, from analog to digital. From a limited personal practice of the rich to mass commercialization. Post-wet plate processes, producing a print was the goal of the photographer. But with digital technologies development, we no longer need a print for glimpsing an image. Understanding how and why, as McLuhan might refer to it, the message of the photograph and printing photographs has changed is the purpose of my investigation. Those familiar with Marshall McLuhan will remember his view, and it was not his alone, that our technologies are fundamental extensions of ourselves. It is the framework which changes with each new technology, and not just the picture within the frame. Traditionally, photographs were images mainly produced by a two-step chemical process, most commonly transferred or printed onto a light-sensitive photographic paper. Photographs were crafted artifacts, handmade and tactile. They were physical objects, fixed in time and space. Following the invention of digital technology, photographs became no longer only physical artifacts. They no longer depend on chemicals, paper, or time for development. And no longer does the word photograph mean print of physical object. Nowadays, photographs may be considered more as images. They can be born and live in virtual environments as a collection of pixels created in an electronic chip on sensor. Moreover, we experience them in different ways than before. Most noticeably, the way we interact with them physically. We just don't hold them anymore, rather see them on screens. They are not something that we actually touch. Today we normally hold the device, which holds the screen, which holds the pixels, which represents the image. We're now becoming people of the screen. We are surrounded by screens. They're basically everywhere. As the founding executive editor of Wired magazine, Kevin Kelly, states in his book, What Technology Wants. Taking a picture and seeing it is an immediate process. It's all that could be shared all over the globe with the same instant speed. Instead of flipping pages on someone's portfolio book or visiting an exhibition, we have the possibility to examine a piece of work of virtual spaces, such as artists' websites or public profiles and online galleries like Flickr and 500 pixels, using devices small enough to occupy our pockets, such as mobile phones. But this is not straightforward digital versus film discussion arguing one to be better than another, as those discussions never address this point. My focus is over screen versus printed image, either analog or digitally born. Technological devices cannot replace the craftsmanship and the personal experience associated with that artifact. Yes, we could touch a screen, move it, hold it, or rotate it, but it lacks an ephemeral quality, cannot be a witness. It's not able to give us the same adventure as print does. An analog artifact looks back, it tells you where it came from, you can trace it, it's got a history. There's the story of the past, as Mark Maguire, an academic from the University of Otago, said. Whereas the digital image looks to the future, it's not fixed in time and space, but accommodates and combines what is yet to happen. Created by analog or digital devices, both types of images are results of light falling onto a light-sensitive surface. They also might have the same size of visual content. What makes the difference is that, in one case, they appear as atoms, while in the other, as bits. Craving for interaction with the initial, today we restore the touch in an alternative way. As the director of MIT Media Lab, Nicholas Negroponte, explains, the reason is because we think in terms of our bodies. We remember posting letters, walking to the mailbox. We think of the amount of energy it takes to move something a long distance. Those are built into our bodies, but the world of bits is not. Bits don't weigh anything, they don't have any weight. And when they travel with the speed of light. And when you collect them, they don't take any space. We create technology using the examples of our humanity, as the Canadian communication philosopher Marshall McLuhan appeals. all media are extensions of some human faculty, psychic or physical. Digital helps for better connection, spreading information, and easier access, but does not replace the essential, the organic, the raw. It seems like we now call photograph two very different things. While before we labeled a photograph the physical artifact, today photographs appear also through a physical object. So when they're not the same thing, why do we call them with the same name? Almost 60 years ago, Marshall McLuhan investigated theories of human consumption within media. According to him, the only way to explain and describe a new media is always in terms of an old media. The best way to understand something unfamiliar is to characterize it with the already well-known accepted knowledge.
When any new form comes into the foreground of things, we naturally look at it through the old stereos.
Yes,
we can't help that. This is normal, and we're still trying to see how will our previous political and educational patterns persist under television. We're just trying to fit the old things into the new form, instead of asking, what is the new form going to do to all the assumptions we had before?
We now point at prints the same way as we point at screens, claiming that both of them are photographs. But are they the same? Do they have the same shape, size, form, or material? Are they equal, or is one of them merely a mediator? The photograph, the analog artifact, is a proxy object, just like a book is a proxy object. Because what the author writes in a book, we hear in our own head. No one can hear the same way. It travels literally from his pen into our mind. Him, the author, speaking in our mind, is a proxy object. It's an intimate experience, a private communication. A photographic print is also a proxy object, but this time is not a voice in our head. What a photograph does is a testament to the hand of the author. It's a witness. It's something that came directly from the author to our hands. Unlike digital image, the proxy image is fixed in time and space. It's a generative experience. You have to be there, it has to be held. It's like meeting, like face-to-face communication, an organic relation. An image in its digitalized form is disconnected and unhitched from time and space, even from context. It could appear and exist in numerous different environments at the same time. More importantly, could be assumed, understood, and looked at in more than one context. It loses the prominence, the importance of itself. And without a context, there is no meaning. In time when everything could be reproduced, the importance is in the essence, the experience, the meeting between pure human senses and an object, the sensation of the personal contact with the printed image, fixed in time and space, is what distinguishes it from screens. As the German cultural critic and philosopher Walter Benjamin described, what shrinks in an age where the work of art can be reproduced by technological means is its aura. Because prints are absolute. The physical act of putting down ink on paper has a finality to it that completes the image-making process. Once you put the ink down on paper, you're making a statement. You're confirming that you value your work enough to take it beyond its digital and arguably transient state. Technology has changed the way we think about photographs. It's changed the way we present and access those images. But what it doesn't have the possibility to change is the nature of the print. The purpose of printing. It doesn't matter digital or analog born, created via film grain or pixels, through chemicals or by mechanical means. It doesn't even matter if it's a mixture of both. What matters most is the physical artifact, and that screens will never be able to give humans the proxy experience. The desire to print is fundamentally the pleasure of a print, the engagement, the journey. It's just like a kiss. The experience of an image as physical artifact is like the experience of kissing someone. Could you remember now the last time you kissed someone you love? And really, don't try to stay in this room, just leave your mind flowing back into your memories. Remember the tension of the lips going towards each other, the breath, the touch, the warmth, the mind-blowing rotation of the energy in your head, body, and soul. This is the print. And what the image on the screen gives us is this. Thank you.